Greetings, my stoic tree lords and fierce spirits of nature. I am Sigmar's Lorekeeper. The woods are a scary place, and it's incredibly more terrifying in the world of Warhammer. People disappear in the woods, entire settlements disappear overnight, devoured by ancient spirits and returned to nature. Behind these stories stand a faction and race with a strange sense of morality, the Sylvaneth. If you are a fantasy aficionado like myself, you know the standard wood elves. Benevolent, beautiful beings that live as one with nature. Basically, really tall, pointy-eared hippies. Well, the Sylvaneth aren't your bargain bin hippies. Grab 1 teaspoon of environmentalists, 2 cups of extremism, and a healthy dose of guerrilla tactics and war crimes, and you get yourself the Sylvaneth. Long ago, in the Age of Myth, the goddess of life Alarielle the Everqueen was awoken by Sigmar and began to travel the realm of Ghyran. She was admiring the beauties of the natural world, but one day she's got kind of lonely. Through her unique life magic, she created the first soul pods, these egg-like things that absorb the magical life energy around them, and birthed a new race, the Sylvaneth. She first created 2 glades, the stoic, traditionalist tree lords of Oakenbrow, and the tree spirits of Gnarlroot. From here, Alarielle and her people spread across the realms, fashioning themselves as defenders of nature everywhere they go, for better or for worse. One special thing about these tree huggers is that they're part of a sort of hive mind, called the Spirit Song. It links every individual Sylvaneth to each other and to their goddess. The problem comes when they leave their home realm of Ghyran and become separated from the Spirit Song. This became more common as they spread across all the realms, with many going insane and becoming a lot more hateful towards mortals. This all came to a head in the final days of the Age of Myth. New glades had been formed, and their philosophies tended to clash, for lack of a better term. The religious zeal of the Heartwood that worshipped Kurnoth and Alarielle, sometimes one more than the other, and the spiteful Dreadwood who have zero space in their heart for humans and only care for the natural world. Alarielle did try to alleviate these differences, but she couldn't really be everywhere at once. These problems, as well as the separation from the Spirit Song, only got worse in the days leading to the Age of Chaos. During the Age of Chaos, the Sylvaneth, while courageous, were slaughtered to the man, or to the tree, by the hordes of chaos across the mortal realms. The separation from the Spirit Song led many Sylvaneth to believe themselves the last of their people. As you could probably guess, this separation led to the near extermination of their race across the realms, except in Ghyran. Here, they fought hard for every inch of ground they gave up, developing their trademark guerrilla tactics that they're known for to this day. The main reason they're so damn good at strike and fade tactics is the realm routes, a special means of inter-realm travel only the Sylvaneth can use to disappear and reappear at will. If you play the tabletop, you know how annoying this can be. A 30-foot tall spirit of Durthu teleporting in front of you to stomp your face in before teleporting away can be pretty damn annoying. While they did fight hard, the endless hordes of chaos proved too much for Alarielle and her forces, so they retreated to the last bastion of Aethelward for a long time. One day, strange storm clouds started to form overhead. The Realm Gate Wars had begun. With the help of the Stormcast Eternals, they retook Ghyran and the Realm Gate that leads to the All Points. This was at great cost to Sylvaneth life. To this day, many glades have not been able to recover their numbers since the war. War glades such as Oakenbrow that consist mostly of a few large tree lords suffered the most during these times. The Age of Sigmar itself is mostly a time of regrowth for these tree-loving warriors of nature, but there were a few hiccups along the way. Being a race sustained by life magic, especially the soul pods they used to increase their ranks, the Necroquake hit them pretty hard. A drastic increase in death magic in all 8 of the realms meant their fuel was being drained day by day. Every fallen tree revenant was felt hard. When your entire people depend on life magic to reproduce, it becomes a bit tricky to reinforce your armies during an event called the Necroquake. Not all was lost, though. Along with Nagash's stinky fart of death magic came the Arcanum Optimar, a realm-wide power-up that affected all forms of magic. Seizing this opportunity, tree lords and the newly spawned Warsong Revenants spread life magic as far as they could, attempting to cleanse the forests. Now, throughout all the ages, the Sylvaneth have had a strenuous relationship with other races. While they are champions of order and care for the development of civilization, they have special boundaries. They are a complicated faction, since they don't really conform to the types of morality of other people in the setting. You see, the Sylvaneth have one rule: to preserve order and the balance of the natural world. And to them, there are no limits as to what is acceptable to achieve this goal. Many were pretty chill with the followers of Sigmar setting up cities near them, with one settlement known as the Living City being a perfect example of cohabitation between man and tree thing. The real issue started when other cities, such as Hammerhall Ghyran and Greywater Fastness, began to do what humans love to do: industrialize. And you can't industrialize without resources, right? So, these clueless mortals decided to reap as many resources from the lands around them as possible, turning entire swaths of Ghyran into lifeless dumps, pretty similar to Ohio. I don't need to tell you that the Sylvaneth were not too happy with this, and what they proceeded to do is kill everyone who left the city walls until citizens began to chill out a little bit. The story of the Sylvaneth and humanity is full of ups and downs, mostly downs. Sometimes they would help the Dawnbringer Crusades navigate the thick forest they call home, and other times they would kill anyone who stepped on the wrong leaf. Needless to say, this made their professional relationship with the Free Cities tense and full of resentment. But enough of their history, let's talk about the tree huggers themselves. The Sylvaneth are about as diverse as, well, the trees in a forest. There are big boy tree lords and little annoying spite revenants roaming their war groves. And while in the past there were many different forms suited to shepherding the growth of the forest, this isn't Peacehammer, this is Warhammer. In fact, after the oopsie that was the Age of Chaos, Alarielle herself has been reborn into her aspect of war, if what Sylvaneth go through can even be called birth, and alongside her, all other members of her people became more aggressive and warlike. There are many war groves all over the Mortal Realms, but like every other faction, we have a few special ones that are worth mentioning. There is Oakenbrow, one of the oldest and most faithful to their traditional ways. The right hands of the Everqueen are known for their wisdom and giant fuck-off trees. They keep their most ancient of traditions above all else. They're also the friendliest of the Glades, regularly integrating themselves with mortal races. Then there is the ever-jealous Glade of Gnarlroot. A bit salty that they came into being mere moments after Oakenbrow, and boy will they remind you of it. They are the historians and Lorekeepers of the Sylvaneth. With the widest knowledge of magic around, they're also more friendly to other races, though solely in the pursuit of knowledge. Harvest Boon is the youngest but most fiery of all Glades. They're popular for their seemingly endless hordes of dryads intent on conquering in the name of their queen. With a bit of a chip on their shoulder, they're eager to prove themselves, and often travel with the Warsong Revenants to spread life through the realms. One of the cooler Glades in my humble but correct opinion is Ironbark. These guys have mastered the art of using their roots to summon precious metals from the earth and merge it with their bark. Pretty fitting since they happen to settle in Camon, the realm of metal. If you thought killing a tree was hard enough, imagine the tree just unlocked plate armor on the tech tree. Heartwood is my favorite though, the vanguard of Alarielle's forces. Seasoned hunters and trackers, they analyze the battlefield for the most elite of threats, and move as one to quickly eliminate them from play. Swelling their ranks with the badass Kurnoth hunters, they tend to worship Kurnoth almost as much as Alarielle, and sometimes more. We had to eventually fall on the emo edgelord sub-faction. Every faction has one. Dreadwood. If their name didn't give it away, they aren't the cheeriest of sorts. They're filled with hatred down to their core, fitting since they originate mostly from dark, damp forests in Ulgu and Shaiish. If you were to run into the Dreadwood, well, I'm sure you can figure out the outcome for yourself. Finally, there is the reclusive Winterleaf, born from a long-lost glade known as Springleaf. At one point, they were almost obliterated by the forces of Grandpappy Nurgle. They retreated to the frozen reaches and renamed themselves very creatively. They harnessed the power of winter because, hey, the cold never bothered them anyways. One thing that is becoming more and more apparent as this channel grows is that I never have the time to talk about everything I want to, and I might revisit some videos later in the future. I could talk for hours about each sub-faction in the Age of Sigmar universe, but right now time is a bit of an issue. Hopefully it won't be a problem for too long. But I do want to hear from all of you. There are quite a bit more of you now than when this all got started, so keep the suggestions coming. In fact, deciding to make this video came from suggestions from you guys, so rest assured I do pay attention. If you do like my content and want to learn more about the Mortal Realms and all its strange inhabitants, make sure to subscribe. But for now, this has been Sigmar's Lorekeeper. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.